about a week ago for me, and I guess it'd be about 2 weeks for you, I got this question, or I guess it'd be a criticism right here, and that's, you don't use ST, so why do you care? And this was in relation to my ST ligatures video, where basically a new patch came out for ST which would add ligature support into that terminal. And this person obviously knew the fact that I don't use ST as my main terminal is Alacrity. So going by this person's logic, there's no reason for me to bother making a video on this because I don't use ST as my main terminal. But I would argue the fact that that's not exactly the case, and it's not just because of this channel, there's also a couple other reasons besides that, but basically what I wanted to talk about today was not just about ST, it's more about software in general. Why do I care about software that I don't use on a regular basis? Now, obviously the first point is the fact that I run this channel, so I'm always trying out new stuff like sometimes random Mastodon TUIs or Spotify interfaces or things to do, I don't know, task management, just random software out there. Some of it nobody uses, sometimes it's really popular software on the other hand, like say Newsboat or ST, Alacrity, sometimes doing things on Vim as well. And even on software that I don't use on a regular basis, I'll still cover it on the channel. Now, the reason for this is partially because I just like software, but the other reason is that I know that you guys like to use different software from what I use, and obviously a good example of this is with ST. So I know that a lot of people who watch my channel came from Luke's channel, and a lot of those people, they will run ST, and I know they do that because Luke is the reason that I used to run ST as well. So a lot of those people still run ST even though that I've switched from it. So it still makes sense for me to do that content on a really popular terminal because I know that a lot of my viewers are actually going to like that content. And even if I'm not using ST as my main terminal, it still might be a good idea to go and check that out. And another example of this is with my web browser. So right now I'm using Brave, but I used to use Firefox in the past. I've tried out Pale Moon, I've tried out Vivaldi, and I've tried out a bunch of different ones like that. Now, I don't know what most of you guys use, but I know that it's probably not Brave. And because of this, it still makes sense to cover other sort of web browsers out there because maybe someone that's watching the channel is actually going to find that interesting, and maybe they'll actually find it helpful. Now, another thing along with this is the fact that software changes. So updates will happen, features will be added and removed, and I like to check back on software from time to time. So ST is one example with that ligatures patch, but there's others out there as well. And one of those examples is with my video editor. So right now, if you don't know, I'm using Kdenlive as my video editor. Kdenlive is fine. I can't really say anything more about Kdenlive besides the fact that it's fine. It's better than it used to be. It's relatively stable right now. I haven't had any crashes in a while. I would like to have less crashes, but I haven't had any crashes in a while, so I am still looking for a better video editor, and the one that I've been keeping an eye on is Olive. So Olive is a very, very alpha piece of software, but it's slowly getting better over time, and from time to time I'll go and check it out. Now, even though I don't use it as my main video editor, I go back and check it out, and the reason I do that is because maybe it's gotten better. Maybe I'll actually want to use it as my main video editor now. And the same thing is true with my terminal as well. So I'll go back and check ST from time to time. Maybe there'll be some extra patches that I'm like, okay, do I want to switch back from Alacrity to ST? Or do I want to switch from Alacrity to URXVT or to Kitty or to Xterm or anything like this? If you don't go back and actually check software that you used to use or that you're just keeping an eye on, you'll never know if it's actually going to be better for you than what you're currently using. If you're just always living in the same piece of software, you can't really say that it's the best software for your workflow. The best you could really say is it's the best workflow that you currently know of, and for most people that is probably perfectly fine, because I can't imagine that most people want to go out and try every single terminal that exists out there or every single file manager that exists out there. And I can get why, because that's just a massive waste of time for most people. And I think that's one of the other benefits that comes along with this as well. So part of the reason I like to run this channel is because I enjoy helping people with software. So if I can help people make the decisions that they want to use for their software by, say, I don't know, trying out ST and trying out Alacrity and URXVT and Kitty and even random terminals like Tilix, I think that that's a good use of my time, because what that's going to do is help people actually sift through all of the just garbage software out there and try to find something that actually works for their workflow. Even if what they end up using isn't the same thing that I end up using myself, and I don't really care if it is. That's not really the point of my channel. The point of my channel is to just help people decide what they want to actually do on their system, and if I can provide some information to, I guess, help people make the most informed decision they can, I think that's a good use of my time. Some people might not agree that that's a good use of my time, but for me, I enjoy doing it, so I'm just going to keep doing it the way I do it. Now, the last thing I wanted to mention is that really, I just generally like software. So even if it's just garbage software, like there's a lot of projects on GitHub that I've tried out that I haven't made videos on that are garbage. The ones you see on the channel are some of the better projects I've seen. There's some stuff that I don't even bother trying out because I'm just like, this is a massive waste of my time. There's no point even covering this on the channel because it'll be something like a Go application that is effectively just a shell script, or a Python application that is basically a clone of some other application that is written in shell script or something. And for a lot of those things, I don't really see any point in covering them. For some of them I do, because some of them, they'll do something a little bit different, or just the fact that it's written in a different way is a good enough reason for me to talk about it, and a good enough reason for me to try it out. The other thing that actually comes with trying out all this software is that I can find exactly the sort of software that I like. So I didn't instantly settle on using Alacritty, for example. I didn't even instantly settle on using ST. Originally I was using URXVT. And then I tried out a couple other terminals and I ended up settling on ST. Once again, partially because Luke was using it so I could go look at his content, but also just because it's a good piece of software. Now, another example of this is with my window manager. So originally when I switched to Linux, I was using i3, and now I switched to BSPWM. And originally, I wasn't a big fan of BSPWM. I was like, okay, I'm just going to switch back to i3. I don't really see the point of this. And then I played around with it a bit more, and it started to grow on me. One of the things that really did grow on me is the separation of the hotkey daemon from the window manager. So with i3, the hotkey daemon is built into the window manager. With BSPWM, you have to download SXHKD, and that actually acts as your hotkey daemon. And now that I'm using that, I can then go out and try something like DWM or Qtile, and I don't have to move any of my key bindings except for the ones that are directly bound to window manager controls, so things like moving windows around in BSPWM and things like that. But I don't have to change things like my binding to open up my app launcher or open up my terminal or anything like that. Most of my bindings are completely fine. Only the ones where I'm specifically working with the window manager have to change. And I did mention DWM and Qtile as well. When I'm on break from uni, I do actually want to try those out. And that's not because I have something lacking with BSPWM. I actually really like this window manager. It does pretty much everything that I could possibly want it to do. But I haven't tried out DWM. Maybe it's going to do something that I want to do that I just didn't realize was going to be really useful. The same is with Qtile as well. Partially also because I just want to try out Python again, just because I miss working with Python. I know Python's not a popular language within the Linux sphere. At least, it's not a popular in a good way. It's popular that people use it, but a lot of people don't like it. But Qtile's the same as well. Maybe Qtile can do something that I just didn't realize that I wanted in my workflow, and if I never try that out, I can never really say whether it's actually a good piece of software for me, or I can never say the same thing about DWM either. I can never say, this is a good piece of software for me, or this is a bad piece of software for me if I never go and try it. And this is one of the things that I really like doing. So I just like to find out what is actually possible on my Linux system. I like trying out workflows that I've never tried before, and I like looking for things that might be cool additions to my workflow as well. Like, originally I wasn't using Calcurse, for example, but then I was like, maybe a calendar's actually useful for me to work with. And another one is I wasn't originally using Thunderbird. I was originally just doing my emails through my web browser, but then I was like, wouldn't it be easier just to have a dedicated application for this? And I decided, hey, Thunderbird is actually a good piece of software, so I decided to start using that. And there is countless examples of this that if I wasn't just trying out tons of software, I wouldn't be able to say that this is the best workflow for me. All I could say is this is the best that I currently know of. And that, I guess, is kind of the ultimate goal of what I'm doing with not just this channel, but also just my Linux system in general. I'm trying to find the best possible workflow for me. So I'm going to always be trying out different Vim plugins. I'm going to always be trying out different setups for like Polybar or different terminals, and just I'm going to keep trying out different things because I'm always just trying to make the best possible system for me. It might not be the best possible system for you, but I'm just trying to always make something better with my system. Even if sometimes it gets worse, I'm always just aiming in the direction of making the system better. And that's pretty much the overarching reason why I care about software that I don't use on a regular basis. Now, you obviously might not agree with what I'm doing here, and that's fine. If you think that everything that I'm doing is a massive waste of time and you don't really see a point of me just making videos on software that I don't use, or me just caring about software that I don't use on a regular basis, that's fine. If you don't want to do that for yourself, that's entirely up to you. But for me, I just enjoy doing this, so I'm just going to keep working the way that I keep working, and one day I'll have a perfect Linux system that is just better than I could ever imagine, except that that's never going to happen, because what's going to happen is in a couple of years, all of the software that I currently have, all of the libraries that they're using just won't work, and I'll have to replace everything. And that's another reason, actually, I didn't even think of this one. If I just always am sitting on the same software, eventually no one's going to be maintaining it, and then I'm going to be at the point where I'm like, okay, well now I have to replace it because it just doesn't work anymore. I'm obviously very far away from that point happening, because all of the software that I'm currently using is pretty well maintained, with a few exceptions, like with my RSS feed for transmission. There's not really many people maintaining that, or there's a couple of little things here and there that just aren't really well maintained, and they're going to break eventually. So if I'm just always sitting on the same software and never trying to change up my system, when that point happens, I would just be completely stuck and I wouldn't have any idea what to do. But if I'm just always incrementally improving my system, hopefully that problem never really becomes a big deal. Now, I know I should probably be uninstalling some of those old packages, because on my laptop I think I had something like 15 or 1600 packages. I'm not sure how much I have on this. Actually, we can just check now, I guess. So we are currently at 900 packages, so not too much, but I've only been using this system for a good couple of weeks. So it'll get much worse as time goes on. But apart from that, there's not really any drawback for me to keep just trying stuff out. Obviously, because also it's just going to keep generating content for the channel. If I was just always stuck on the same sort of software forever, I would also eventually just run out of stuff to talk about. Now, I know I could probably make 1,000 videos on Vim, and there are people who have done that. Or I could just only do Vim plugin videos, and I would never run out of content. But at some point, that also just becomes kind of boring. If I was just always doing Vim videos, that would be boring. I find it boring enough from time to time just looking at random programs that no one cares about. That's why I kind of like doing these more vloggy style videos like this. It's a nice change from that sort of stuff, so I can at least have a bit of a break from just always looking at software that some of it is complete garbage, as I've said previously in the video. Before I go off on a tangent that is not related to this video whatsoever, I think I'll just end it there. Before I go, I just want to thank my patrons. So a special thank you to Joachim, Nathan, Tiki, Andrew, Roy, Tony, Ilku, Larry, Ray, and Zilva. So if you want to join the Patreon, there'll be a link to my Patreon down below, as well as my Amazon affiliate links where you can just buy random stuff on Amazon, and I'll get a small kickback for it. So you can buy the gear I use in this channel, or there's also a link there just that'll take you to the homepage of Amazon with my affiliate link. So also remember to smash the like button and leave me a comment down below, and remember to subscribe and ding the little bell icon down below as well. Also remember to go check out my podcast. We will be at episode 11 by the time this goes out, and I think the episode that'll just have come out around this point will be with my mate Jai. If it's not out yet, it'll be out in a couple of days. That should be a really fun podcast for you guys to watch. So I think that's pretty much everything for me, and I'm out.